Now, do we keep EB in this spot, or do we move him up?
See, and this is why I was kind of hoping they'd let go of Ron earlier. So they could, granted, EB would kind of get the short end of the stick here, but they could, put him in the place of the head coach. He'd have the murderer's row of the schedule coming up and, potentially get fired because he, doesn't win a single game. But, like, I think he's going to get the short end of the stick either way next year, unfortunately. Like, they're going to look to clear house. It's kind of weird that they keep the offensive coordinator, not and fire the rest of them. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm with you. But I don't want to jump too far ahead here. But maybe they could bring in like one of these hot shot offensive coordinators that have been able to turn around some of these other quarterbacks and keep it going with Sam. I don't know. What I'm hearing about EB and what a lot of people don't like about him is that he's old school. He yells at everybody. He's a screamer. He's just players don't like him. Like he's up on you all day, every day, just nonstop, like like Belichick or gosh, who's that old Giants coach? I forget. But
Parcells?
after
Tom
him,
Coughlin.
Coughlin. Yeah, just old school, constantly screaming at you. So I don't know. I like the way that the offense has gone, but again, like they refuse to run the ball, and I don't know if that's because the way that the line is or what. But I just think I just don't know what's going to happen to EB next year. But granted, he's done a great job with Sam. I must say that I agree with you.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree. And you jumped right into it. And you talked about it. There was a report, Grant Paulson, somebody you listen to all the time, kind of saying in house it is questionable. Do they want him to stay? So you kind of jumped ahead and said, if they might get rid of him, they might let him go to see because we don't know who they're all bringing in. But what does that say about EB? Or is this what everybody was saying before when they didn't hire him as head coach?
Exactly. And I'm hearing more and more that he didn't have anything to do with the play calling out in Kansas City. So I don't know. I have no idea. Like it's really again, it's too small of a sample size. Like the guy finally gets like the first year of getting the clipboard and calling all the plays. Like it's really hard to say. Maybe this isn't the type of personnel that he's used to, and he needs to win. Like it's just. All this stuff is so circumstantial, especially when it comes to the NFL. Like people just do not get a long time to to really prove what they have and wait for that perfect situation to get everything in line to really succeed. So it's just unfortunately, like we've seen here so many times before, where we have like decent coordinators and they just go off somewhere else where they do have the perfect the better circumstances and they do succeed. It's just I don't know, but again, like if you're not getting the locker room, if people don't like you, like especially on the team, and they're not going to play for you, like it's just I don't know what you do about that. But again, it's just hearing from another person through another person through another person, this is this is their reaction to him. So maybe they just talk to somebody who's butthurt from getting yelled at by EB. I have no idea. So it's just it's tough to say.
It's been. I mean, look, this has been news all season long. We've heard about this multiple times that EB is louder in house. And Will, I wonder. I mean, we know what Ron is. He's a player's coach. The guys will run through a wall for him. He's a guy that you can come in there and he'll pat you on the shoulder, that type of thing. EB is the opposite. Right. I wonder if that's the clash. I mean, we've heard multiple times about players want Ron to talk to EB, and now they want Ron to take back some of that power. Maybe you just can't have both heads in house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a good point because then you allow head coach to be good cop too often. I think it's concerning that EB is at another franchise and the same things are being said. I think for his career, this is concerning. And I think the problem that is going against him with this type of narrative is you look at the team. All right, if you're 4-8 and you're ripping on players, you're not getting the results that are helping them. You're not winning. It's one thing if you're, it's one thing when you're Belichick and you look at him the wrong way and he cuts you the next day and then he wins a Super Bowl weeks later and you're like, well, there's a method to his madness. Mm-hmm. EB can't say the same thing. Like you said, yes, we're putting up some really good passing stats, but there's asterisks by it. There's reason behind that. It's because we're 4-8, and in the fourth quarter, we're having to throw the ball. It's well, look at your running backs and look at your lack of production, there. So I think that hurts him. But and I will say this: I'm also totally okay with a complete cleaning of house of everything. Cleanse the whole building, paint everything over again, get new carpet, and let's give this ownership a fresh chance to put all their style onto this franchise. And if that means that we don't give EB the chance to stick around as an OC or as a head coach, I don't care. I am finally, after many, many years of holding on to people and holding on to players, just willing to say, give me something fresh. Let me start all over.
You've disconnected that emotional attachment, and I'm proud of you for that.
Right.
That's good.
That's right.
That's a good step. I like that.
It took 40 years. 41 years.
I believe it, man. I believe you love your team. I've never held that against you, man.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.